Hi, Dr. Asong. I am Eva, and together with my group members, Shahira and Jayan, our group has chosen to observe the difference in parenting styles between Asian and Western cultures. There are four known parenting styles. Omrin introduced authoritative, authoritarian, and permissive parenting styles. McCovey and Martin then divided Omrin's permissive parenting style into permissive and neglectful parenting styles. Permissive parents are warm, responsive, indulgent, lenient towards their child, and have fewer or no rules set for them. Neglectful parents are cold, unresponsive, uninvolved, and lack rules for their child. We chose to focus on authoritative and authoritarian parenting styles. This is because these styles are widely used and the clear differences can be observed in the cultures that practice them. Authoritarian parents set very strict rules for their child, are unresponsive to their needs, and have high expectations of them. This produces children that may have low self-esteem, lower academic skills, lower academic performance, poor social skills, and might have delinquency issues. On the other hand, authoritative parents are warm, responsive, highly supportive, value their children's independence, and have clear rules for them. This may make the child to have higher self-esteem, better social skills, high academic performance, and lower delinquency problems. However, this does not generally apply to all cultures. Because much study on this was done in Western countries, it does not take into account the differences that may occur when it is applied in different cultures. Many studies done in Asian cultures have found that parents are mostly authoritarian. This might be influenced by the collectivistic culture of most Asian countries that value tradition and emphasize on interdependence and respect. As Western countries are more individualistic, they place emphasis on independence and self-growth. As such, Western parents tend to have authoritative parenting styles, while Asian parents have authoritarian parenting styles. I will now pass to Shahira to elaborate on the comparison of parenting styles between the different cultures.
Thank you, Eva. So I will do the comparing between parenting styles between Asian and Western culture. So I will start to explain on what happened in Malaysia first. According to Mofrat and Uba in the year of 2014, what they have found according to their research was that for Malaysia, 31.8% of parents are authoritarian, 24.6% are authoritative parents, 22.6% is neglectful parents, and 21% is referring to permissive parents. However, it is important to remember that this percentage might not be accurate because some participants from the study may not be willing to report negative information about their parents, and they also might have answered the survey according to what they would like to be rather than who they are. But I guess this is a good indication or example for us where we can see that most Malaysian parents prefer the authoritarian parenting styles and authoritative parenting styles, just like what Eva has mentioned previously. So I will give an example. This is what happened in 2014. I remember I was still in high school when this happened. It used to be a really hot topic in Malaysia, where Malaysian couple in Sweden used corporal punishment to their children aged from 4 years old to 14 years old with bamboo stick, a clothes hanger, and also using their hands. And this happened over a 3-year-old period. So this Malaysian couple's authoritarian parenting style has caused them to be jailed by Stockholm court because what they did to their children are totally unacceptable. So we can see what is acceptable in our culture might not be acceptable. And this is especially when it comes to corporal punishment, because corporal punishment is considered as criminal offense in Western European countries, specifically in Sweden. So Sweden also was actually the first country in the world to ban smacking children. So this is actually making, the situation worse for the Malaysian couple, although it's normal in Malaysia to use corporal punishment. However, they need to accept the consequences. So what happened is that the couple were jailed for 10 months as for the husband and 8 months as for the wife. So I will move further with comparison between Asian countries versus Western countries in general. So, according to Sobot and Metz in the year of 2014, Western cultures place importance on independence, self-esteem, and personal growth, and therefore this results in individualistic culture. As for traditional Asian families, they emphasize on interdependent responsibilities, emotional self-control, humility, and conformity. So this obviously results in collectivistic culture. One of the example that we can see, if you know Amy Chua, so she's actually an American law professor and also a writer. She wrote a book called Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother in the year of 2014. So after the release of the book, people started to use the term of tiger parenting. So it's actually being used to refer her children, although she puts familial closeness as the priority, just like how the collectivistic culture did, but she also used harsh tactics like shame and fear, which obviously more to authoritarian parenting style. So, her books actually creates a controversy where there are differences in opinions between the Western. Of course, it's unacceptable for the Western people. And what happened is that she also released an article on why Chinese mothers are superiors. And these articles was released by the Wall Street Journal. And what Amy Chua claimed, there are three big differences that she claims in the article, where she differentiate between the Western and Asian parenting styles or parental mindsets. The first one is she said that Western parents are extremely worried about their children's self-esteem. Second thing is that she mentioned children parents believe that Chinese parents believe that their kids owe them everything as parents have sacrificed and done so much for the children. And the third one is Chinese parents disregard all of their children's preferences and own desire because they know what is best for the children. Amy Chua also to inform you, she is a mom for two daughters, and she explained that both her daughter was not allowed to play computer games, not allowed to watch TV at all, not even allowed to have play dates or sleepovers or get any grade less than A. And that sounds very much like authoritarian parenting styles. And they will also not allowed to choose their own extracurricular activities. And she further claims that this is the reason why, her daughters have been successful in school and music studies. It's due to her strict policies that she has made. This is totally unacceptable for most Western parents when they hear about this, because Amy is not giving her daughters the audacity to choose their own life decisions. And I think, as for me personally, I don't agree on how she raised her children. However, her children tend to be successful. Well, that just happens even until today. I guess I will pass the next part to Felicia.
Okay, thank you, Shahira. So, in order to explore on the different parenting styles between Asian and Western culture, we did two cultural activities. The first one we did was we held a focus group to discuss about the Asian culture that the three of us were brought up into. And the second activity was we reviewed several videos that we found online that reflects the parenting styles in the Western culture. In the focus group, it was like an interview. We went around the table to interview each other, and then we see what are the parenting styles that we grew up in common. The first member to be interviewed was Ava. Ava is the eldest child in her family with two younger sisters. As the eldest child, her parents put a lot of expectation and responsibilities on her as compared to her siblings. She also mentioned that her father gave a lot of attention to her when she was younger, and the youngest sibling received the most attention from her mother. But the middle child in her family received the least amount of parental attention. Most importantly, her parents chose to practice authoritarian parenting style on her and her second sibling, but chose a permissive style on her younger sister. Her parents were exceptionally strict with her since she was young, and the matter that bothered her the most was always being compared with her siblings. As she grew older, her parents shift from authoritarian style to authoritative style. The second member we interviewed was Shahira. As the only child in her household, she had her parents' undivided attention. Similar to Eva, her parents practiced authoritarian style when she was younger and authoritative style as she gets older. She explained that her parents is very academic oriented and would punish her if she got poor results in school. Although she is an only child, her parents would still compare her with her peers. I was the third member to be interviewed. I grew up in a mixed parenting style family as my mother was an authoritative parent and my father was authoritarian parent, which means my mother was caring, supportive, but my father was strict towards my twin sister and me. My father, he had hot temper and would usually yell at us most of the time when we were younger. And also he would use corporal punishment when we did misbehave or did mistakes, but not very often. But later on, my father did change his parenting style towards an authoritative style, and became more laid back in parenting us as we grow. So all in all, we found that the three of us were subjected to authoritarian parenting styles when we were younger, regardless of our birth orders and the number of siblings we have. And all of our parents are much more laid back and move towards authoritative parenting once we grow older. One more thing we found interesting is that Asian parents like to compare us with our siblings or our peers, which is the one thing that we agreed that it is not a good thing to be practiced by parents. For the second activity, we reviewed several video clips we found online to explore on the Western culture parenting style. We watched a clip from the Cosby Show and a clip from The Lion King, and also a interview clip from the interview of Obama's family. All these clips shows that Western countries, they practice authoritative parenting style and they were all very caring and supportive in general. And when the child misbehave or make any mistakes, they won't physically punish the child and they would usually explain to them firmly on their child's mistakes. For example, like in the Cosby Show and The Lion King, the child did something that makes the parents very angry, but they still didn't lash out to their children. They would explain to them why the things that the child do would make them very angry or worried. But at the end of the day, they would still tell their children that they still love their child even though they misbehave.
We're going to get angry, but what we're hoping for is that you all would still come to us if you have any problems as opposed to going to other people. I mean, we love you, and I don't think that anybody can care for you with the love that we have. No one cares more than your mother and me. Okay?
And in the Obama's family interview, we found that Westerners are expected to leave their home for college or education, which is not very commonly practiced in Asian culture. And lastly, we also watched a clip from the stand-up comedian Harith Iskander. He said that authoritative Western parents use too much reasoning with their children, while authoritarian Asian parents could stop a child's bad behavior by just giving the child a stern look.
Now, if an Asian child so much as puts one foot onto the table, like just thinking of climbing the table, an Asian parent would just they don't even say anything. They just look until shh.
Although his content is quite exaggerating, but we still find it quite accurate though. So a conclusion that can be drawn from this assignment is that parenting styles differ from culture to culture because it depends very heavily on the cultural practices, beliefs, tradition, and also values. But we believe that as long as the parenting style could scaffold and help in the child's development, that would be the most important thing in terms of comparing which of the parenting style is the best. So that's all from us. Thank you.